What up, what up, what up? What is happening? Burb Jones 345, man. It's after Christmas. It is December 30th. We in the building right now. I'm in the podcast room. It's just my house. It's not really a building. Um, we got the Buzzsprout link up on the page for you if you want to catch the podcast and audio. Just go to this link on the page or the link that's on the screen during your podcast. What's happening? Hope you had a Merry Christmas out there. Hope you got to spend time with your people and eat a lot of good food. That's what I did, man. Hope you got to win some money on some bets. I had a pretty good win last night on NBA. We here. We're just gonna run down your recent football and basketball, and we're gonna get up out of here. We are coming into the football playoffs, and for college and NFL. There's no college on here, just NFL. And we are in the middle of NBA season. All of the links and stuff, or not links, but all of the social media you see up top, that's how you can follow. They're doing well. The Facebook, my Facebook is the only one that I don't really post stuff to. But the TikTok and the YouTube is where you want to be at if you want to see recent posts. I'm more focused on those two. It seems to be easier to attract new audience on TikTok than it is on Facebook by a mile. Anyways, we're gonna run down games starting at Christmas with the Lions. And really, man, just what is going on with the Lions here? Not that exactly I'm concerned, but the Lions just keep losing, and this is rock bottom. This is rock bottom for the Lions. Losing to Max Brosmer and company. This is a very bad look. Is the word I'm looking for, and I think that next season there might be some shakeup with the Lions. I'm not a huge fan of Dan Campbell. The way he gambles with the team's future. That year they were about to make the Super Bowl and he kept gambling in that game. That turned me off with Dan Campbell. I don't, you know, all them times where he's had an opportunity to kick a field goal and doesn't. The man shaves points. He might not be doing it on purpose, but he's so stuck on that gambling thing where he just refuses to take field goals. It hurts his team. And at the end of the game, when the Lions lose by 3 points, 6 points, where a couple of field goals could have easily made the difference, he don't, no one looks his way. I know players can't blame the coach, but as a player for the Lions, I'd be pissed off. I'd be like, damn, man, we keep coming so close, and this dude is shaving points. If I, as a QB, as Jared Goff, get my team down to the red zone, I want some points. And this guy will go for it on 4th and 5. And it's not smart coaching. And I think he has a lot of moments like that, even in the playoffs, where he has cost the Lions important victories. I'm not just talking about regular season. Go look at the playoff games. He was gambling and not taking easy field goals in playoff games that could take his team to the Super Bowl. And so I'm not a fan of Dan Campbell. And I think that the Lions could find another coach to go out there and go 8-8 right now. So, I'm not saying anything's going to happen to Dan Campbell. I can't read the future. I know the Lions love Dan Campbell. I don't. Because if I'm serious about winning, I'm going to take the points when the points are there. I'm not going to keep going for it on 4th down every single time and refuse to kick a field goal. What the hell you even got the kicker for? I'm not going that. That's crazy to me, especially in a tight game. And that's all I have to say about the Lions. They're last in their division right now. So Dan Campbell done took the first place team to last. And so I expect some shakeup with the Lions this offseason. That's all I can say. Um, just want to talk about my coach real quick, who also had a great start and a terrible end to the season. Started off bad towards after 8 games. Started off bad. Then all of a sudden, Daniel Jones got hurt. They call up Phillip Rivers. My problem, my reasoning for this segment on the Colts is yes, they lost to the Jags. But after the game, Phillip Rivers goes into a press conference and says he's having a blast. And I have a problem with that, bro. Yeah, they called you up to come here to play. Yeah, it was, you didn't have a lot of practice. It was on a whim. I understand all that. But you're 0-3. You agreed to come here and play. You agreed to try. You did try. You went 0-3. And so he goes into the press conference and says, I'm having fun. Well, shit, I'm glad someone is. Because there's no way that you get to go back home after this season with no weight on your shoulders. Nobody expected you to really do anything. But you came in here and went 0-3.
It's been an absolute blast for 3 weeks. I wouldn't, if I go back and say, all right, now you know everything's going to happen, what are you going to do? I'd do it all again. It's been absolutely awesome. So, yeah, I mean, if it's the last one, it's the last one. I thought the last one was walking off the field in Buffalo, walking up that tunnel, and I was fine with that. And that one had tears those few days after it, and I was at peace with that being the last one. So certainly if it is, I got 3 bonus games that I never saw coming.
3 bonus games that you went 0-3. And he's just too happy for me. Yeah, okay, cool. You got to come have fun and sling the ball around. You didn't help, bro. You went 0-3. And now you're saying you had a blast. And you threw interceptions and everything. Like you had a 2 interception game. Like I just don't, I'm not down with that. Send that man home. Don't call him no more. The Raiders, who are 2-14 and are about to be 2-15, because if the Raiders lose again, the Raiders have an 80% chance to get the number 1 pick. All they got to do is lose again, and they're going to get the number 1 pick. And they play the Chiefs, who also have no QB. The Raiders, Geno Smith isn't playing. He got hurt, so they're going to put out whoever. The Chiefs are going to put out whoever. The difference is that the Chiefs don't really get much for them losing. They're probably going to actually try. And the Raiders are going to get the first pick guaranteed if they lose. Now, the Raiders players are all saying, there's no collusion here to tank, and they're going out there giving it their best. The team is just terrible. This also speaks to me to Pete Carroll. I understand that the team has limited talent, but Pete Carroll was just awful this year, and they need to find a new coach. I don't think they need to run this back with Pete Carroll. Anybody could have went out there and went 2-14. So the Raiders players are claiming that they are giving it their best every game, and and they probably are. The talent just isn't there. Aston Jeanty deserves another retry at the season. I don't know. They didn't use him right. He had games with like no yards. If I was him, I'd be trying to get out of there. He has a rookie contract, but I'd be trying to get out of there because he's not. That team is not turning around to anything in the next 2 or 3 years while he is there. I'd be trying to get up out of there. And I understand you got to respect and play for the team that drafted you. But immediately after that, I'd be trying to get out of there. There's no future for Aston Jeanty staying with the Raiders. For this team to turn around, it's going to take a lot. Whoever they pick for number 1 in the draft, because they're going to get the number 1 pick, I'm assuming a quarterback. He's got his work cut out for him. Brock Bowers came in as a rookie and was your best receiver as a rookie. And he's still your best receiver, and he got hurt. Your best receiver is your tight end who was a rookie last year. So the Raiders have a overhaul to do, and I don't think Pete Carroll is helping this overhaul. Pete Carroll did not seem like he knew how to use a lot of the players correctly. It just didn't look good. I think Pete Carroll needs to go home, and they need to eat the money they paid for Pete Carroll. Last football topic here. I'm just talking about how Shedeur Sanders beat Aaron Rodgers. That's it. I don't have I didn't watch the game. I'm not going into game analysis. What I'm telling you is that Shedeur Sanders faced Aaron Rodgers. He won, and he had a higher QB rating, 75 to Aaron Rodgers, 65. So that's all I'm telling you. Shedeur Sanders beat Aaron Rodgers. I don't care about no interceptions. Don't care about how old they are. Shedeur Sanders beat Aaron Rodgers and left the game with a higher QB rating. And so that's all I have to say about this segment. I'm sure Browns fans and Shedeur fans are in love with that, and I'm sure Steelers fans and Rodgers fans are ready to ram their head through a wall. I think the Browns need to keep Shedeur starting, and it's clear the man's won 2 games. That's probably a lot more than people expected him to win. I think the Browns need to keep him starting, and I do not think that they should turn around and go back and try to draft another quarterback. I do not think so. He won that game against the Raiders. They lost 4 in a row, but then he won. So he's 2-4. I mean, some of the games are close. You just gotta keep. You have to have some consistency. Gabriel only won 1 game. So right now, Shedeur is beating Gabriel 1 win. Flacco 1 win. Shedeur 2 wins. One of them wins over a division rival. Get the guy some help. This offseason, let's turn it in, get the guy some help, and maybe the team will, he needs to be the starter. That's my point of this. We're just gonna talk about how Giannis did that last-second dunk on the Bulls, and the Bulls cried.
Bulls trying for a quick bucket. Herter doesn't get it. And the rebound finishes it off.
At this point
Giannis
here,
put up 27 in his return to the lineup. Plus 2 more.
I'll tell you what, if you're the Bulls, you should have fouled him. As soon as you saw that he was going to start doing that, you should have hustled down the floor, and you should have fouled him. And now Boots and them are taking exception to it.
That was a take that from
so now
Giannis. Now the Bulls
so,
and Bucks meet towards center
listen,
court.
you can't be mad.
Now they want to fight over it. So this is what I got to say about this. You didn't want the man to dunk the ball? I don't care about no unwritten rule. The buzzer hasn't sounded. You don't want the man to run out there and dunk the ball. You were already losing the game, bro. Y'all lost. And so you mad that he dunked it, then finish playing defense. Don't just stand around. Y'all was standing around. The game wasn't over, and you expected him to show mercy, and he didn't show no mercy. And now y'all want to fight. I mean, it'd be one thing if y'all was winning the game, but y'all got sore because they came to y'all home and whooped y'all, and you expected him to stand there and give up even though the time wasn't out. I have no sympathy for the Bulls on this. I don't care about no unwritten rule. It's unwritten because it ain't a real rule. I don't care about that. He dunked on y'all. Y'all should have at least, all you had to do is jump in front of him, put a hand in his face or something. The game ain't over. Stand in front of him, block his path. He wouldn't have dribbled down there and dunked. Y'all watched him because you thought he was going to show mercy, and he did. And then even after he dunked, so what? That doesn't change the outcome of the game. He ran down there and dunked. Y'all were already losing. It wasn't a 2-point game. He didn't change the outcome of the game, and y'all want to fight about it mid-court. Come on, Chicago. Kawhi Leonard put up 55 points last night. Good outing. The Clippers are on a little mini hot streak. They are still, Kawhi Leonard hit a career high 55 points last night. I think it was a franchise tying high. The Clippers are 10-21. Long way from grace, man. Long way. But we're only 31 games into the season. You can win 3, lose 1, win 3, lose 1. You get what I'm saying? And get your way back to 500. If the Clippers get back to 500, I think then we're going to be on here talking about something, because it was full-on tank mode a minute ago. But they got some good wins under their belt. They got Jones Jr. back, Derek Jones Jr. back. Give the team, just give them a minute. Let's see where they're at All-Star break. And if this team can crawl back to 500, then we're going to talk about something. Then OKC might not get that super high pick Everybody's talking about they're going to get a high pick because Clippers are going to tank. They might not. This ain't over. That's all I got to say about the Clippers. Remember this. This ain't over. They could make that little play-in tournament and start busting ass from there and make it back into the playoff. We never know. This ain't over. Bird Jones, 345. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to the TikTok, 3_4_5_ sports.talk. Subscribe to the YouTube, 345 Sports Talk. What you see on here, we out of here, man. Happy New Year. Tomorrow is New Year's Eve. Be safe out there. I don't drink, so I'll be at home. There will be no alcohol with me. I'll be at home banging out some video games. Here's your Buzzsprout link again if you want the podcast and audio. We out, man. Good episode there. 15 minutes, nice, crisp, and clean. My dogs didn't interrupt me. I had to put them in the cage, bro, so they wouldn't bark. They was going wild. Had to put them down for a nap. I'm out of here, man. Thanks everybody for watching. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate the views, the downloads on the Buzzsprout has over 100 downloads. And I just like doing the podcast in general. So thank you, everybody. I'm out.